guys, I'd like to officially welcome you to my YouTube channel and my flower piping 101 tutorial. So if you have been dreaming about starting a cupcake business and learning how to pipe beautiful flowers, I'm very happy you came across this video because today I'm going to take you through all of the basics you need to get you started. I'm going to show you how to pipe these cute little summer flowers which are perfect for beginners, and I'm also going to show you how you can package them in these beautiful clear boxes where you can really showcase your work. So by the end of this video, you're going to be all set to start selling your very first cupcakes. Let's get started. Okay, so let's go over all of the tips and colors you're going to need to pipe out these cute little summer flowers. Let's start with the tips. You're going to need the WILTON number 3. I'm using an ATECO 225. This beautiful petal tip is number 182, and I'm also using a gem 1R. Now, this little circular cookie cutter, we're going to need it and we're going to use it as a guide, and it's going to show us how we're going to pipe our petals. And this one is about just a little less than 1¼ inch in diameter. So let's go over to our colors. Now, I've kind of shown you a few companies here that they all have a great product for a food color. This is a gel concentrate color. The only preference that I really do have is for the color mill, and that I use for my whitener always. We're going to use a Pro Gel Pink. We're going to use some Sugar Flare in Egg Yellow and Gooseberry Green. So let's mix our buttercream. So to achieve these beautiful crisp petals, the first thing you will need is a very smooth, stiff and stable buttercream. As you can see, it's completely airless and perfect for piping. Now, the recipe for this and the complete tutorial can be found on my website at katebaker.ca, where I take you step by step and show you how to achieve this consistency. So to achieve this beautiful pastel pink, I'm going to show you how I like to do it. And I'm going to be using the Pro Gel Pink. What I like to do is just take a small amount of my buttercream, and we're going to add a couple of drops of the Pro Gel. And this is going to give us the full pink color. I'm just mixing this in a very large plastic bowl. I do prefer the plastic bowls over the glass. So let's mix in our pink. So now we have achieved a true pink here. And what I'm going to do is add little bits at a time until I achieve a nice little pastel color that I'm happy with. If I was to put in all of the pink, we would really get a very dark color, which we don't want. We want it kind of like a baby pink, a nice little pastel. So here I have achieved this lovely pastel pink buttercream, and we're ready to flat ice our cupcake. What I have here is my cute little frozen vanilla cupcake, and we're going to take a bit of that buttercream and we're going to flat ice this cake. And you really want to do this from frozen, otherwise you're going to have a hard time getting around the cupcake case. And I just place it in the center, and we're going to go all the way around and cover up all of the edges of our flower. And this really doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for us to have a background color. That's all. Just like that. It's really important that the cupcake recipe you are using is freezer friendly. A lot of the cupcakes, once you freeze them and they defrost, you notice that they're very dry. This is a great recipe because once you defrost your cupcakes, they stay just as moist as when you bake them. And you can find the full tutorial for my cupcakes on my website. Okay, so now we're going to find our center, and this center is going to guide us as to where we're going to pipe our petals. So I'm going to take my little cookie cutter, just this guy, and we're going to place it right in the center here and just give it a good press. Just make sure it's the center. I always have a hard time finding these. Perfect. We're ready to pipe our petals. So I have my piping bag ready here, and I already cut off that little corner at the front. You really don't want too big of a piping bag. 12 inches is enough. And we're going to take our petal tip, tip number 182, and we're just going to drop it in the middle. And as you can see here, I'm just about maybe 3/4 way down to the tip as to where I cut the bag. You don't want to cut it up too high because then your tip is just going to fly out from the pressure. And I like to kind of drape it over a glass. And now we're going to fit it with our buttercream. Just take my spatula and we're just going to stuff it inside. Very important that you do not overfill these bags. Otherwise, you're going to have a real hard time piping out your petals. So that is enough. And now we're going to start to pipe our petals. A couple of important tips before we get started. Number one, of course, we don't want to overfill our bag. And I'm going to introduce you to this petal piping tip. Now, any petal piping tip pretty much works in the same manner. As you can see, it's kind of faced like a teardrop with a thicker and thinner end. And what happens is the thinner end is what's going to give you this pretty defined petal. And the thicker end will always be facing towards the center, and the thinner end is always facing away from you. This is how you get those beautiful, elegant petals. Next, before we pipe, what you want is a nice tight bag. So you don't want to have your buttercream loose kind of wobbling everywhere. So you really want to kind of wrap it up. And I do like to wrap it around my thumb. This gives me a lot more control. And we're applying a nice even squeeze from the top of the bag. This is what's going to give us a pretty buttercream petal with no rips. Let's get started. So here I am all set to pipe out my petal. Remember that thicker end is facing towards me and the thinner end is to the front. And the main purpose here is for us to cover up this rippled edge. So I'm going to be piping my petal just slightly above our border. So I'm giving it a nice firm squeeze, and I'm using my left hand to turn this cupcake this way and my right hand to turn it clockwise. Nice firm squeeze going over the ripples. I'm stopping my squeeze and ripping away. Notice I ripped towards me. This is what's going to give you that beautiful clean edge on your petal. Now the next one, I'm going to just slightly tuck it underneath, and we're going to do the exact same motion. And ripping it towards me. And we're just going to keep going. And I do have a little paper here that I use time to time. It's a little wet napkin to wipe off my tip. And I'm just going to keep going with my petals. And we're covering those rippled edges, stopping the squeeze, and then breaking it off. Okay, so now we're gonna pipe our second round of petals. And this time I'm going to nudge very close to our marker. And what we're going to do, the previous petals, I was very flat up against the cake. But for these ones, I'm actually going to slightly tilt up my tip. And this will give just a little bit more life to our cute little flower here. And the exact same motion. Stop and break away. And again, I'm just nudging right underneath. Stop and break away. And I'm just going to keep going. Now, if you're noticing that your petals are getting tears, it could mean a couple of things. Either you are piping way too fast or you have a very warm buttercream. Again, my buttercream tutorial comes with a guide that will kind of show you all of the different temperatures and how your buttercream will behave when you're piping. And I'm quite upright. So I'm just going to show you a nifty little trick. If you do want to add just a little bit more realism to your petals, what I like to do is to use a very skinny paintbrush. And with the right buttercream, as you can see, it has a lot of flexibility, and I'm able to push these petals back, and it kind of gives a little bit more bend in our flower. And this is how our beautiful petals turn out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pipe our cute little center. So now to pipe our center, I'm going to be using the Gem 1R. It's a very big tip with a big opening, and I have put inside my gooseberry green. And again, we're going to have a nice tight bag. Everything is wrapped around, and you really want to make sure when you're piping out your blob that you're putting even pressure from both sides and really waiting for it to grow. Otherwise, you're going to kind of end up with more green on one side and the other side not completely filled. So let's pipe our blob. Putting it right in the center, giving it a nice even squeeze, and we're going to watch it fill. Stop the squeeze and pull up. And I'm just going to pop this in the fridge for about 30 seconds just so I can tap down that peak. So now I'm going to introduce you to my little assistant that really helps me pipe all of the fine details in all of my flowers. And this is magnification. I absolutely love this one, and I use it to pipe all of my centers. Now, it really comes with a few different types of magnification. You can magnify anywhere from 1 times to 3.5 times. I stick with the 1.5, and it just comes also with a light. Hopefully you guys can see it. And you put it on like so, apply your magnification, and with that light, it really allows you to see all of the details of your cupcake. It is very clear, and I'm going to show you how I use it to pipe the center in my flower. So my flower had about 30 seconds in the fridge. The icing had cooled down, and I'm just going to tap it down to get rid of that little peak. I'm just going to take our finger and tap that down. So I'm all fitted with my magnification, and I have my ATECO 225 on with the Color Mill whitener, and we're ready to pipe out our centers. Now, very important here that your center is at room temperature. Otherwise, you're not going to have an easy time getting the buttercream to stick to the blob. So we're giving a nice squeeze, and I'm stopping the squeeze and pulling away. A nice squeeze, stopping the squeeze and pulling away. And I'm just going to go randomly kind of all the way around, filling our center. And I'm just going all the way around. I absolutely love how clearly I can see everything with these glasses. Just making sure to stop the squeeze before you pull up. So here I have finished my center, and now all we have to do is pipe out our cute little stamens. So here I'm using Wilton tip number 3, and we're going to pipe out our stamens. We're just going to kind of get snug in there, make sure you're applying an even pressure, and pull up. Just go all the way around randomly. And make sure that you're giving them enough of a base. This way they're able to attach to your blob. So I give it a good squeeze before I pull up. Here we have our gorgeous little flower, perfect for beginners. And now I'm going to show you how you can package these cuties. Okay, so now we're going to package these cupcakes up. And I absolutely love these clear boxes. I really think they make for a beautiful presentation. So very important tip here, you want to make sure that your cupcakes are properly chilled. Because if they're very warm, what's going to happen is they're going to kind of make a big mess when you're trying to package them up. So I've already put this box together, and I will have these linked in my bio for you guys. And very important step here, when you're first opening the box, is going to come with these little tags. And what you're going to do is just push them back. Now, my cupcake cases are slightly bigger than a standard cupcake. They are about 2 inches wide and 1 3/4 inches in height. So they fit this perfectly. So I also like to do is I like to reinforce the sides with just a little bit of tape, just to make sure that nothing pops out. So now we're ready to arrange our cute little flowers. And what I like about these boxes, it has the perfect amount of spacing to fit all of your cupcakes. I'm going to be putting this guy in here. So once we have arranged them in the tray, we're ready to slide them into the plastic piece. And I have already bent all of the edges so we can nicely slide them in. Just kind of open it up so we can slide in our tray. And gently in it goes. So once I have fitted in my cupcakes, you can clip the box together. But what I like to do, just for extra security, is I use a little bit of Scotch tape and just tape in the sides. But it clips in pretty nicely on its own as well. There we go. And our box is ready to be fitted with a ribbon. And there we have it, such a lovely and elegant presentation. And as you can see, you can also personalize it with your brand. I always add a Kate Baker sticker. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave them for me in the comments. And don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. And I'm going to see you guys soon with another tutorial.